Alright, so this is a different kind of video. It is a QA session answering your questions with my honest thoughts. I have been getting so many emails lately, and the questions are just too good to keep to myself. I think it would be silly not to share my answers with everyone, including the folks who asked them. I will try to get through as many as I can. I am going to read them one by one, and I will share my honest and serious opinion. Let's dive in. Question number 1. Hi, I recently came across your channel or your video about retiring by 30, and it really resonated with me. Great work. I am 19 years old, currently working a warehouse job, and I have managed to save up around 80 grand by living extremely frugally and investing as much as possible. I have been grinding hard, working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, with the goal of achieving financial freedom, so I do not have to work until I am 65. What I really want is the freedom to do what I want, when I want, however I want. However, I have been struggling to take action on potential business ideas. I have ideas, but I often hold back from pursuing them. What advice would you give to someone in my situation? First off, thank you. I know I replied to you separately before this wave of emails hit, but I am seeing this as a very common struggle. I definitely wrestled with this in the beginning too. Honestly, if this is legitimate, which it sounds like it is, 80 grand at 19 is absolutely wild. You are so far ahead of most people your age. I am not saying this to compare you, but it is good to have benchmarks. To see what is possible, that is a massive achievement. Congratulations. Seriously, pat yourself on the back. You clearly understand how to save money, and that is a skill many never learn. I was exactly the same way with saving, but here's where I got a little lucky. And this is important. You are in a warehouse job, right? There is not much in the way of transferable skills there. And I think you already know that. That self-awareness is incredible. You realize, hey, I cannot and do not want to do this for the next 30 to 40 years. You could make millions doing that, but I can promise you, you would not be fulfilled. And I think you already know that, which is great. So I really appreciate your mindset. You already know you need to create your own path. I have talked about this a million times. At 19, you are still so young. I made a video about this last week, but back in high school, I just threw myself into as many ideas as I possibly could. From wholesaling to trying to sell cars online and charging a finder S fee to connecting business owners with private equity firms, you name it, I tried it, literally everything. Right now, my recommendation is one of two things. Number 1, and I also did a video on this last, I think, Wednesday, Learn Sales. This is going to build your confidence, but also your bank account over time. And it is going to give you the freedom and the skills eventually to go and start your own thing. If you want to start your own thing, you are going to need to know how to sell. You have to understand these things. So I would say that is number 1. And that is honestly the recommendation I am leaning towards most heavily. If you really feel compelled, the second option is this. In the evenings and on weekends or whenever you can, especially now or during holidays, map out just one idea that truly speaks to you. Ideally, it would be service-based, so there are almost no startup costs. This is where you could choose to start. I do not know. A landscaping business going door to door, you could start a marketing company, but again, it is the skills that I keep getting hung up on. You could go and do that. I am not going to shy away from that because I have seen both approaches work, but in most cases, I am going to choose number 1. So you want something online, something with freedom. If you truly wanted to start a business, you would need to do cold email. You would need to get in front of potential customers somehow. Cold email, LinkedIn, cold calls, Reddit threads, either offer to work for free in exchange for a case study or work on a performance basis for your first few clients, like I did with lead generation. Then just charge them once they start getting good results. That is the risk with owning your own thing. You are going to have to put up the money in the beginning. So that is the only tricky part. I would really recommend learning sales, watching my sales video, and just breaking it down step by step. Like, okay, get on Upwork, get in forums, get on LinkedIn, and start looking at these different sales roles because you can make a boatload in commissions. Now, obviously, with your warehouse job, you are going to have to be careful with that. And I want to say, if you are investing a good chunk, invest some of that in your education, invest some of that in your skill set, because the best investment you are ever going to make is yourself. So just be careful with that. I can tell you are hungry. I can tell you want it. You are 19 years old. You have so much time. You could fail for the next couple of years and you would be totally fine. So I would start right now learning sales. And I mean, 80 grand, you have enough of a buffer to keep yourself comfortable. So keep living frugally, stack your cash, and build your exit out of the warehouse job. Question number 2, I will just get right into it. Hey man, hope all is well with you. I am emailing you about your 2 videos I watched. One of them was 9 to 5, and I think the Financially Freedom one. I love them both, and I just wanted to ask you a few questions. I am 23 years old, finishing up my Associate S degree, and I am also a substitute teacher in the district I work in, and it is not that bad. I make $3,600 to $3,800 a month, sometimes more with bonuses, and I have had this job for almost 3 years. I have not spent money on anything flashy, and I live with my parents for a little. I have a 2009 Honda Civic, nice respect. I am planning on driving it until I cannot anymore, and I also keep up with my car maintenance. I have been able to save more than 40 grand due to being frugal. I recently just got an apartment with my girlfriend for around $1,800 a month. All utilities included except electric and Wi-Fi. We go half on everything. The reason for moving is because my stepdad and I had issues and I could not do it anymore. I have no loans at all, just rent and bills. That is it. My question to you is, with that cash, my savings, what would be a good thing to do? Roth IRA and invest high yield savings account. I eventually want to leave my job for something better in the graphic design and marketing field. Sorry, this is a lot. I hope you see this. Your videos are great. Thank you. This is my answer. This is an interesting one. I love the way you just get right into the juicy details. Your income is not bad, at least for now. I really do not think so, and your expenses are incredible. I love the idea of keeping that car. I was stupid. Looking back at it 6 years ago, I did the opposite. I bought an older BMW and had issues with it within literally days. That is another story for another video, but I really like your situation. You are in I would not say a no-fail situation, but it is really hard to mess things up with how cheap your rent is. And if you are truly going half with your girlfriend, your monthly burn is not that bad at all. So you are in a good position. I would say 100% run that Civic into the ground. Do not buy anything flashy. Do not buy any new cars. Do not do anything crazy. There's just something freeing about not having a car payment, because it just mentally conditions you that you always have to have a car payment. That is how it was for me growing up. It was like, well, 2-year old car, 3-year old car, got to go get a new one. No, for anyone listening, that is stupid. Do not do that. Car debt can kill you, and funnily enough, I moved out due to my stepmom issues as well. There was some friction there, and that pushed me to be better. It was a great decision. It actually put my back up against the wall, as silly as that may sound. I say if you have got good parents, if you have got a roof over your head, keep pushing with that. Try to save as much money as you can that way. But there will come a point where push comes to shove, and you just have to move out. And that put my back up against the wall. So I think you are feeling that pressure, and that hopefully is what inclined you to send your email here. Now let us get to the juicy details. I would say take the obvious maximum advantage of any tax-free accounts where you can. That is more or less free money, especially when it starts compounding. And just set up a recurring buy basis when you get paid, or once per month for a very basic Vanguard. This is not financial advice. It is just what I do, but a very basic Vanguard index fund that mirrors the SP. Just set that up, set it and forget it. Do not even look at it if you do not have to. Obviously make sure that it is properly buying things, but I would highly recommend doing that. And the most important part of this question, I would say, I know you are not going to want to hear this, but most do not. And it is sort of clickbait. The best investment that will easily get you the best return is you yourself. You need to invest right now with your savings and the situation that you are in. You have got some room to invest in yourself because you are going to get the best return that way. So invest in your own skills, your health, so you can be as sharp as you humanly possibly can. So I am talking courses, books. If you need to speak with a consultant that can get you a few steps ahead of your peers, or just ahead in your own corporate life, that is incredible. So not to combine them too much with the last question, but sales is a great one. It sounds like you have got some interest in marketing. Highly recommend that. That is insane. That is awesome, man. If you could eventually start freelancing, that would be awesome. You could freelance your design. So this is where I would say learn from someone good. I cannot name off people right now. I cannot really think of people on the top of my head, but find some people that you trust. You trust on either YouTube, that has been a huge resource for me. Either digest as much as you can on their free content side. And then on the other side, just start testing, start doing your own graphic images, start doing your own marketing things. Paid ads are huge right now. It is such a valuable skill to learn, not only as a business owner, but as an agency, as a freelancer, and you could charge a boatload of money for that. So I would say keep your expenses obviously as physically low as possible. Learn these skills when you can. So I would highly recommend not dropping your job right now. Do not worry about doing that. We are nowhere near that position just yet. Keep stacking that cash in the background when you can on evenings and weekends. Learn these new skills, invest in yourself, and you are going to see the best return that way. And then I would say any excess cash, throw right into the index fund. I would say any cash that you are holding on the sidelines right now. 100%. Anything that is not invested, put in a high yield savings account. Just at least get a few percent on it every single month. And that way it is not at least burning to inflation. At least that way you can just break even with inflation and roll from there. Man, this one speaks to me because this is exactly what I did when my car was paid off. I cannot tell you the weight that was lifted off my shoulders, and then living at home. I was just trying a boatload of things. I already talked about this in another video, but go check that out, where I was literally just trying stuff. Man, I was just trying stuff to see what stuck, what did not, what I liked, what I did not, more importantly, and what I really wanted to focus on. And then that is when I started my agency. And I see something very similar here happening to you if you go down that path properly and you build yourself properly. So anyway, to anyone listening, as always, I want you to win if you have made it this far, and there are going to be more questions like this coming soon. So if you have any questions for me personally, shoot me an email and we will go from there. Thank you.